Welcome back to the Old Colony Cast, a podcast about all things Plymouth and surrounding areas. I am one of your hosts, Andy, joined by other host, Hanna.
Hi.
We still haven't decided on. It's just we're just going to other hosts. Okay,
because you're also
another host. That's true.
Yeah,
so
we're
from
both
your perspective,
other
it's a
hosts.
perspective thing.
Yeah.
I get it. And our MLB professional editor, Fish. That means Major League Baseball.
Good for you, Andy.
So yeah, I know things.
It's funny because when I talk about the show, I go with the other host.
Do you?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
I'm like
funny.
just realizing
Yeah.
it. I'm like, get the other host, Andy.
We were just talking about baseball before recording, and I will say that I caught a little bit of yesterday's game, and they were wearing yellow and blue for Boston Strong, I assume?
Yeah, MLB.
But I couldn't get it out of my head going, oh my God, they're doing banana ball.
It's like
I just
Savannah
wanted-
Bananas.
Yeah, I wanted them to do like dances and stuff.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
I want to see them.
Apparently, a friend of mine went, but apparently to get tickets, you have to like enter a lottery
Yeah.
for the
Yeah,
chance to
they
buy
are
tickets.
They're
super
blew
popular.
up.
Yeah, they
yes. I saw the Globetrotters when I was little.
Really?
I think it could have been like the B team.
I don't think there is a. I think they play the B team, the Generals. I mean, that's the point.
No, I meant like the B squad of like the benched Globetrotters.
I don't know if this. I think
That's
this
like-
I think they just tour like a band. I think they
Okay.
Yeah,
just
I
run
don't think
around
there's
and-
like a JV
Okay.
Globetrotters.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you see the
I think I saw
Globetrotters,
them.
but-
I think I did. I
That's
have a
interesting.
memory of
Yeah.
it. Very vague, yeah. And then,
The Globetrotters were
Well, it's
huge
because-
when I was a kid because that's like when Wilt Chamberlain was on the team. And
yeah,
stuff.
it's like I saw the Rockettes, but it wasn't the Rockettes. It was like their backup.
You didn't see them at Radio City Music Hall?
No,
Oh.
they came to, I don't know,
Oh, so they were
The
like
Willard?
Rockets in training?
yeah,
Interesting.
it was not my favorite.
I
It actually
saw-
made me think I did not like performances anymore.
Really?
Because they had their spots X'd out on so many places on the stage, and I was so high up that I could see like the duct tape, and I was
Yeah.
like, "This is so cheap." I was like so
I
mad.
didn't realize that's just something that they do.
I was like 11. Like I was like, I hate this, and then
I saw the actual Rockettes at Radio City Music Hall.
see, like I feel like
Yeah.
that would
Yeah, it was fine.
change my mind about it. But all they do is kick and dance. And,
Yeah, I mean, it's...
they're not even the ones singing.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But talking about seeing like behind that curtain, Ace Frehley played at Memorial Hall.
Oh, really?
And it was going around because people were in the balcony and they could see just a piece of paper taped on the floor and it only just said Plymouth. Which I love because I've been to so many times where like you go to like Great Woods or whatever it's called
Yeah.
now, and they'd be like, "What's up, Boston?" And we're like, "Mansfield."
Yeah. That's so funny. I love that.
Yeah, it was super funny.
Anyway, Savannah Bananas, all
Savannah
that
Bananas.
jazz.
Yeah. Don't be so hard on performers, Hannah.
No
You know?
one's. I know.
Sometimes
I
it's hard.
I was a preteen, and
Yeah.
you know what? It was following the year I saw The Lion King, so there was a lot to.
Oh, well, that's an unfair comparison.
Yes, I was like, this stinks.
I assume you mean the musical, not the
Yeah.
movie.
Yep. No, the musical.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Bunch of hacks.
Yeah. Because it was like nothing.
She's
compared
at
to
like
that.
elementary school plays being like, "Boo, you stink."
I remember, and I'm like honest to a fault sometimes. I think my Nana brought me.
Yeah.
No, I think she always brought me to that.
Oh,
stuff.
doesn't she live walking distance from an island?
And Saquish, yeah. And
That's a callback, listeners. Go back and listen to the episode.
And
about Clark Island.
she does. And anyway, she's asking me and my cousin what we thought. And my cousin is the most gracious person ever on the planet to this day, without fail. My aunt instilled that in her. She's like, "It was amazing. I loved it. Thank you so much." She asked me, and I was like, "It was meh." Like, as I can't like not like say
it's
what
so
I
funny
feel.
too. Like I've hung out with people that have like weird expectations of live performance to be exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically, his name was Dan, and we were at Cabbie Shack. It was like the dead of winter, so like no one's there.
Yeah.
And they had a band playing, and they were doing Seven Nation Army, and we're all like, "This band's good."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Ugh, they were terrible." And we're like, "What?" It didn't sound anything like it. And I'm like, "It's not their song, man, and they're live."
Yeah.
Like, it's just such a weird expectation. To
Yeah.
be like, why isn't this exactly like?
I actually do remember. So I got over that pretty quickly because there's definitely like performers, right? They do like, especially like really popular people, like radio popular people,
Yeah.
like right there. not to downplay any of the people who play out because they do it all the time and they play the same songs all the time. So of course they would want to maybe change something about it to make it a little bit more fun for themselves.
Sure, yeah.
I saw Hanson was my first concert.
Bop.
Yep. And they jammed and I was literally like, what is this BS? And I had to like ask my dad, I'm like, why doesn't it sound like the real song? And he's like, because it's live.
Yeah.
And I was like, ah.
I can't remember who I was listening. I want to say it was either Alice Cooper or
Like
Axl Rose.
Bop was like long. Like they made it like a jam song.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
But they were talking about using teleprompters, and like a lot of people were like, that's crap, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you do this so much, you just kind of, it becomes so ingrained in you, just like performing the song. He's like, all it takes is like one person to reach up and grab your leg that you don't expect, and all of a sudden your brain just like craps out. And you're like, what part of the song am I in?
Yeah.
It's like if you stop to think about like a passcode that you normally put in to like be like, what is my passcode, opposed to just like entering it.
Yeah.
Like your brain can just kind of like short circuit and you're just like boned.
That's so funny. Anyway.
So so this is the episode where we talk about performers that we've seen.
Kind of.
Kind of.
There's some
Is it?
performance
Did we
aspect
segue into
to
this?
it. It's not
I love when I segue into stuff
it's
by
not
accident.
the best segue, but I'm going to say it is.
Listen, we're like 200 episodes in. Like I can be not awesome all the time.
And by some record that hasn't happened in a while, years maybe, I am doing a second episode in a row because for those who don't know, we try to record a lot at once.
Yeah.
And
Make life easy.
Yes, this is the second one.
Are we doing another spooky episode?
It's another spooky, since we're in spooky season, technically, when this comes
want to
out.
make sure I didn't,
And
not have my ghostly sounds.
this is another one from the list.
Yeah, all right, listener. Little sidebar. This never happens. Like one episode from the list never happens. Go play your lottery tickets. Hug your loved ones. I don't know what's going to happen, but something big's on the horizon.
Yeah. So I truly, I told you I missed the mark on that Facebook thing I saw about something New England. I like so many New England history things that I get fed.
So yours was like from a New England history thing.
No, but that's how I usually get my ideas.
Right,
and then this time around, I was like, no, I got to go
I'm
to
really
the list.
curious if it's the one I thought.
But I lost the post of the one I was going to do because I was like, oh, that would be so easy and fun and like I know it would be like a good, meaningful episode.
Okay.
Because I think it was even like timely of spooky season, and now I can't. I don't know what it was.
Definitely not even like.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
That's
not
good.
the one I was.
So we're going to talk about a pretty famous gentleman.
Walt Whitman?
No, spookier.
Spooky. Vincent Price.
Not as
Rob Zombie.
Not as new. Think older.
Really ye old Rob Zombie.
No. Yeah.
Is it Poe?
It's Poe.
Oh, Poe. Okay. Did we do Poe before?
No.
No, we did.
Really?
Lovecraft,
We haven't?
we haven't done Poe.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like so many really popular people topics we talk about, Edgar Allan Poe has a lot of stuff you can like dig into about him.
I'm sure he'll come up again.
Just so everyone's aware, because it's this stuff that people are like, you didn't say this. And I'm like, you know what? There's a lot to say about him. I'm picking the things, I'm biased. I'm picking the things that stand out to me.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah. I didn't care that he collected napkins.
Yeah. I'm just going with what feels good to me.
And for listeners, I don't know if Edgar Allan Poe collected napkins.
I wish he did. So this is actually tying back to our old episode quite a bit, more than I like even realized it did. This poor guy.
The last one?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
In some way.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
There are similar topics weaved into Edgar Allan Poe's life.
Come on. I have my theories.
Born January 19th, 1809.
All the cool people born in January, just saying.
That's someone's birthday, I know. No, it's my niece's is the day before. Anyway.
Oh, no.
Or no,
Didn't we talk about
16th.
January 19th? On the last, it was January 17th.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, weird.
In Boston. That's why we're doing him.
What?
Yep.
We tied him in.
Yeah.
Box checked.
His father, David Poe, abandoned him when he was really little, like 1 year old. He's one of three siblings. His father abandoned him in 1810. His father was an actor. That's how he met his mother, Elizabeth or Eliza Arnold. And she ended up passing away when Edgar was maybe like 2.5.
Oh, geez. So who raised him?
Good, very good question.
Thank you.
We're going to get into
I'm
that.
a professional.
She was also an actress, and she was actually fairly beloved as an actress in the places she performed. Like, people really thought she, I don't know, they just really appreciated her. They thought she was really kind and that kind of thing. And Edgar is forever left with a profound impression of his mother of being like very angelic and just like an idealized. Yeah, because he doesn't really have probably a lot of memories of her, right?
Yeah, you're only going to hear the good stuff.
And then, like, obviously traumatic event of her dying that happened when he was about 2.5, and she died of tuberculosis.
Consumption.
Yep, consumption.
That's what us cool kids call it. Did she become a vampire?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Maybe.
It's a fair question.
Honestly, for Edgar, maybe. His other siblings, William and Rosalie, and I didn't realize this, that I was listening to just different things about him, and some of the historians are calling him Eddie, and I'm like, did other people call him Eddie?
Oh, that's weird.
I think so, because they have letters, and like it's your dearest Eddie, like that kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, that's later in his life.
I don't like
it. Sounds
that.
strange, yeah.
I don't like Eddie Poe.
Eddie Poe. Eddie Allen Poe.
It's being like, Georgie, Washington.
So to your question, Mr. and Mrs. Allen took in Edgar. They lived in Virginia. So he moved in there when he was really young, around like 3 years old.
Yeah.
Those were his foster parents. That's how I'll refer to them. They knew his mom, and they favored his mom. They thought they were friendly with her.
I think you would have to if you took their kid.
I think you would too. He was split up from his siblings, though. They didn't all go to these people. They raised him with, let's say, what's it called when you want for nothing? You just have a lot.
Spoiled?
Not spoiled. He wasn't spoiled. Yeah, affluent, kind of.
Well off.
They were rich. He was Mr. Allen was a tobacco dispenser. I don't know. I don't think he was like a farmer, but he had something to do in the tobacco industry.
Okay.
And they raised him to be like a Southern gentleman. So all Bostonian like behaviors were.
So it said like, I do declare.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. We're out the window. They got him to the best schools, not anywhere near Virginia, though. He was sent over to Europe.
Oh, okay.
For most specifically the UK, so between Scotland and England, going to boarding schools over there. And he got exposed to all the things that he could have been lucky enough to be exposed to with his mom that was single, like who was having a hard time raising 3 kids. So he got like a lot of extracurriculars. He was into sports. That's where he kind of found his love for the arts and literature.
I was going to say, it's weird. I don't think of him as into sports.
So, yeah, he was kind of an athletic guy. But
really?
Yes, but he switched over in school. Like,
yeah.
We're talking like middle school.
No, I mean, I still like, generally you think of like the stereotypical picture I have of Edgar Allan Poe would have gotten stuffed into his locker.
Yeah.
And not like.
No, he was actually, I guess, known as like very, like charming.
Interesting.
Yes. And like,
no portrayal of him does him justice then.
No, he was very charming and like really captured people's attention and like was just like he was favored.
He's a bro.
Yeah.
Good
So
guy, local guy.
And he started to lean into literature more, wanted to get to know people who were more into that stuff, and like that's what he geared himself to. This is just a kind of a know-nothing fact, but just to know a little bit about where his mindset was as someone in the arts at a young age was into the arts was him losing his first love at 15. His first love was his friend's mom. She died of...
Was her name Stacy?
No.
I heard her mom's got it going on.
She died of tuberculosis.
His friend or the mom?
The mom.
Okay.
So it's like just another profound loss from tuberculosis.
Of like kind of a motherly figure. Okay.
Yes,
sure.
But
I get
also
that.
he loved her.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that
He was 15,
too.
you know.
Well, he'll be old enough to know better soon. Trust me. 1820.
Sorry, Eddie, I was trying to like get you back.
Yeah, he moved in with the Allens like officially in Virginia. And
Yep.
again, like he was raised in Southern society, so and to be just like, I don't know, like the Southern etiquette, like
Yeah.
to be that
Southern hospitality.
social.
Kinda,
yeah, exactly. Yes. So he moved in with them. He joined the Richmond Youth Honor Guard. So this is like the pre-military type of training.
Okay.
In 1824. And then this is kind of a weird turn of events. So his mother, Mrs. Allen, was stricken with tuberculosis. And it has me questioning why
I'm kind of down with the vampire theory at this point.
Yeah.
Edgar
Eddie Poe is
maybe
being
isn't
hunted by the vampire of his mom.
Yes.
Ooh.
So now his foster mother is stricken ill with it. But while this is going on, Mr. Allen is having affairs like at the home. And
Well, that's just not.
and Edgar is
Very Southernly gentleman.
no, is not having it. He does not like it. So to silence him, he sends him off to college. And he enrolls him into the University of Virginia in 1826. And I guess this place is like crazy. There's like National Lampoon's like crazy college experience.
Oh, I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
like
Yeah,
there's like just like
Toga parties. And,
just crazy
yeah.
like things happening. Crazy parties, things that need to get the police involved a lot, that kind of stuff. And I guess this is where Poe, like most people, just expands the idea of what he is capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
He starts writing. He actually is something of an artist too. I guess he like painted his whole dorm, and people would come to like see it because they were like, "Whoa, this is cool! This guy Eddie's like avant-garde." Like they thought
Eddie's
he was
the
like,
bomb, yo.
yeah, like they thought he was like really cool.
He's dripping with Riz.
Please don't.
So he really liked that experience, but the issue was his foster father sent him with only enough money for tuition and nothing else.
It's like no food, books,
No,
clothes.
exactly.
Beer money.
So he was living kind of like destitutely and like really didn't have any food. Like that was the main thing. He attempted to gain some money, so he started gambling.
Okay. That always works awesome.
Yeah, which he then lost. And then because of his loss and inability to pay off his debts, he and his foster father refusing to help him pay anything else, he ended up joining the military under a pseudonym. What was it? I wrote it down and now I can't find it. It was not that different. It's like
Pedgar Allen.
instead of like Edgar
Ew.
Allen Poe, it was like just like Edgar Allen or something. Like it wasn't.
It was
that
Eddie
different.
Poe.
It
Yeah.
was Edgar A. Perry.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
Oh,
thank
did you look
you.
that up?
I did look it
Oh,
up.
that's
Yes,
fast.
it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, it was very similar to his like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that different. He didn't go under that for very long, but he was definitely scared of being. I don't know, assaulted by like debt collectors. So that was his main goal in joining the military. He did end up publishing something in between him going to college / joining the military, or just like right after he joined. It's called Tamerlane and Other Poems under the name A Bostonian. So
Okay.
now he's like claiming Boston.
To be from Boston.
Yeah. And he is.
Check that box again.
Yeah. So Francis Allen she's been sick this whole time, right? And now he's kind of young adult status. She ended up passing away in 1829. This is obviously very hard on him. Because
it's the third kind of motherly person he's lost.
So John Allen, his foster dad, was always very hard on him. Was like, it was a stiff relationship. There was not like the warm and fuzzies coming from him. It was not that case with Frances. She was a little bit nicer with him and definitely cared for him. So this was very upsetting to him. He ended up moving because now he's like pretty much cutting off all ties with his foster father.
Yeah.
Wants nothing to do with him. His foster father, right back at him, wants nothing to do with him.
It was kind of like, I quit. No, you're fired.
Yeah. And he moved into this house in Baltimore with his aunt, Maria, or I've heard it pronounced Mariah, and his cousin, Virginia Clem. They're both, the last name is both Clem.
Yeah.
Just so you get, I just realized it made it sound like Maria's like a.
Was a different
two name thing. Virginia Clem. She's 8. That's important. Okay.
She's 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's keep going with this story. So Poe had to push hard to get his works published because now he decided, like, I'm in this house. I kind of have a place to be at least. But he also had to help contribute to the finances of the house. Yeah. So he's working really hard to try and pay bills, get things published. I guess there was like really shisty copyright things there. So he was getting, the issue was if he was getting things published, he was not getting like a good amount published for those works.
Yeah.
Or not a good amount of money from publishing those works. 1834, John Allen was dying and calls for Poe to come see him on his deathbed. So Poe does, and this guy literally just tells him to his face that he's not leaving him a cent.
Wow, that's harsh.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to come see me. Closer. No, closer. Closer. You get nothing.
Yeah, and he tells him that he has bastard children, and they are all entitled to something, and you're getting nothing.
Wow. Oh, because he was the one that was like bringing like ladies home.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a POS.
I know. So 1835, he actually ended up taking a real job. I don't mean to say that his job as a writer wasn't real. It just wasn't paying the bills.
Yeah. More traditional work.
Yes. As a editor of the Southern Literacy Messenger. So just like a
newspaper editor.
Yeah, pretty much. And he had to move to go to where that was actually located. I forget where. I actually think it was in Virginia. So from there, Maria wrote to Poe, because he was no longer living in the house, that she was sending Virginia away to be married, or at least to like set up to be married, because it was just like she was getting a little bit older.
She was like 10.
Yeah. And he was like, from that, his world shut down. He realized he's in love with Virginia.
Who I was making a joke about 10.
So she's 12.
Oh, that's way better, Eddie. Come on, bro.
He writes a letter to Maria, begging her not to send her, that he loves her, he'll take care of her. Writes a letter to Virginia, calling her like my cousin, my wifey.
Oof.
My love. It's me, your Eddie.
Wow.
So he's 20. Blood. So he's 26.
Go on.
And they end up marrying like the next month. And yeah, she was just shy of 13. They faked some info for the marriage in order for her to be old enough.
Legal enough to make that happen.
And although this was not the most traditional type of marriage, even for the time.
Yeah.
Everyone said they were very happy and devoted, at least publicly. They said that they were like...
He was very devoted to his 13-year-old bride.
There's like a thing where it's like they were seen playing leapfrog, and I'm like, yeah, she's a child. They were like, he would entertain her. I'm like,
yeah, that's babysitting.
Yeah. So anyway, so
Anyway.
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
heard he wrote some stuff, too.
So that's the thing about him. He did not have a lot of his life and career. Like, it didn't overlap that much. He became...
Like, is a lot of it, like, posthumous?
Yeah, so he became famous, like, after he died.
Yeah.
Pretty much. He reached some amount of fame, which we'll talk about shortly before he died. But it was nowhere near to what happened after his actual death. He had this is like just to show you what kind of person he was and what he was dealing with. His own, like, soul.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Because he was a man of troubles.
Yeah.
He had a job offer, a government job offer. I'm like, this is so random. And this is not like the government job, like you're going to, like, I don't know, like work at the post office. For this job, he had to meet the president and, like, interview with him. Yeah.
Okay.
So he meets him, but he ends up sabotaging the first interview because he shows up drunk. And the assistant
Sure.
is like, come back in a couple days. He comes back and he's not drunk, but he's still, like, working for the Southern Literacy Journal, and he tries to solicit magazine subscriptions from the president for it.
Wow. That's okay.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm interviewing, but I definitely don't want this job.
Yeah. So he kiboshes that. 1845, The Raven gets published. It's very successful, but because of the poor contract he had with the publisher, he didn't make that. He made $14 off of it.
And that's not even good in that day's money?
No.
Okay.
Considering how popular it was. He did gain a lot of recognition for, like, the area in the area he lived in for doing lectures of his works, and, like, people would just go and see him recite his stories.
Yeah.
And his tellings of them were very animated. There was, like, a lot of passion behind his words. Like, he could capture a full room of audience with his stories. They even say, like, his Southern charm, right, that we talked about, like, people loved the Raven so much, and these kids, I guess, would follow him around and be like, go, like,
do it again.
Yeah,
do it
yeah.
again.
And he'd go, nevermore, and scare him, and, like, be like, you know, yeah. Like, he played along.
Yeah.
He's a man of the people, but also kind of, like, on the inside, a little sad.
Yeah.
Plagued. You could tell in his writing.
That's kind of how you always, like, see him pictured as.
So
like,
he was actually, he was, like, happy to people.
Yeah.
But then, like, on the inside, he was suffering a little bit. He had a problem with alcohol. We've heard that, right?
Yeah.
A little dipped into gambling a little bit. Make things worse, his mom is at it again. Virginia died of tuberculosis in 1847.
I'm like, she's dead already.
Yeah, well, of course she is.
Yeah.
No, joking. His wife, Virginia, passes away at 1847 from tuberculosis. This inspires Annabelle Lee.
Okay.
That, you know that one?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Glad you do.
Is she the ripe old age of 17?
Probably. So there was a few other women after she passed away that he pursued. One that he ended up getting engaged to. Everything kind of fizzled out. I mean, honestly, maybe she died.
Yeah.
But
a lot of consumption going around at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. This leads right up to...
I feel like he's patient X. Right?
Yeah, yes,
or patient
I know.
0.
And I'm like, what kind of antibodies does this guy have?
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah.
So, 1849.
So what, Typhoid Eddie?
Yeah. I know,
there you
right?
go.
He ends up passing away under mysterious circumstances. This is at the age of 40 in Baltimore. So, some guesses as to what, from, like, history as to what might have happened.
I thought you were asking us for guesses.
I mean, yeah, take a guess. Do you know any
Rabies?
of them? Rabies is a very popular one that he got rabies.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't
That
know
was just
that?
a shot in the dark.
That is one of the most popular
Really?
theories. Yes.
Murder.
So it was an election year.
Murder by rabies.
It was an election year, I guess, and there was some theory that someone poisoned him or
That's
something.
murder.
Yeah. Yes, that's why I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
actually, okay.
I'm crushing it.
Any other guesses?
Bungee cord accident.
No, definitely not that.
Yeah. 2 for 3. That's pretty good.
Okay.
You got a guess?
I mean, I'm going to go with guy has a problem with alcohol and gambling. I'm guessing his death was either alcohol or gambling related, but...
Yeah, so alcoholism's on there. Yeah, political kidnapping was I had that on there. Syphilis was one of them.
I was going to make that joke, and I'm like, I'm going to hold
At some point, Andy, all of every joke you've made has just been like a line item. So if you could...
Right?
Please
go write some new material and come back.
Cholera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Epilepsy.
Oh, interesting.
Heart disease. Or like an embolism of some kind.
Yeah.
So they found him like on a curb in crazy condition. But he was recognizable. Like people knew who he was.
Yeah.
He was famous. So like they were like, oh, crap, this is Edgar Allan Poe. We need to like help him.
Yeah.
And they get him to a hospital. He's unconscious for a little bit. Everyone says that he was in poor shape leading up to this too. Like he looked frail. He looked sick. He did not look well. And he was acting different. So that's kind of why I think they like rabies was on the list.
Rabies or syphilis can screw with your brain.
Yeah.
And at the hospital, he regains consciousness for a moment, and his last words are "God help my poor soul," and he dies. And that's Edgar Allan Poe's story of his life
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I know. Obviously, I did not mention many of his works. This dude was writing away and having no notoriety for it, like I said, until after he died.
Well,
so
it's just so funny.
There wasn't like a timeline of like.
There wasn't really a big celebrity author.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny because like every time you see him pictured, he looks like very thin and frail and like gaunt.
And I guess why he always has like his coat buttoned all the way up is
so
because
it's like a southern thing.
Vampire attacks.
It could be both, but what it really was
I'll entertain your comments
Yes.
and then tell you how it really is.
apparently because he was still like broke as a joke the whole time. So he only had one dress shirt. So it was dirty a lot of the time. So he kept his like coat presentably clean, but I guess he was kind of smelly and he didn't want to show his dirty coat, his dirty shirt. So he kept his coat buttoned up,
Oh, interesting.
creating that kind of gothic look.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he only because he was dirty.
Gross.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I know. The life and
Sad
struggle.
life. Yeah.
Besides the
Child bride.
child bride. Yep.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of that going on at that time, unfortunately.
I mean,
It still was not good.
No.
it's not good when you
They had to
needed
fake the
when you needed to lie and say she was 15
Yeah.
to marry your cousin. Look, the only defense I have is that his aunt was sending her away to get married anyway.
Yeah.
So someone
not a great defense.
No. Look,
Jerry Lee Lewis is like, I wish I thought of that one.
Yeah. If it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I know he shows up everywhere in pop culture.
Oh my God. Yeah.
He's
Oh, yeah.
omniscient
He's
in a way.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in like horror writing.
Yes, if only
I'd
he
say
knew.
it's like him and Stephen King.
And then think about like the way he appears today. Like what was that series that just happened? The Fall of House of Usher, which is a story from him.
Yeah.
But they like
Oh, right.
they incorporated in different people of
did
that.
I
They focused on
finish?
different stories.
That was
from
really
Edgar
good. I
Allan
don't know
Poe.
if I finished that. It was on Netflix. It was very good.
It was good, yeah.
Very creepy.
Oh yeah. Yes, it was.
Very
and
good.
then I think like maybe the one that is not taken a life of its own, but it's like is as present in some way is just the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors, the Nevermore episode. Like
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I feel like that introduced a lot of people. Like that's how I knew about Edgar Allan Poe.
Interesting. I don't know how I know about like I can't. I don't know if I can trace it back to like one.
That's what I mean. It's like he's everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just part of so many things now.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like if you listen to like metal or goth,
Of course.
music. At
Yeah.
some point.
No, he set the tone for. There's a couple other things that I probably failed to mention. Gothic, vibey things. Like he was the inspiration, the creator in a lot of ways. And then he had a semi-popular story come out around the time of The Raven, I believe. That was a predecessor to Sherlock Holmes, and Sherlock Holmes would not have had its popularity if it wasn't without that.
Yeah, it's people don't mention that the Murders in the Rue Morgue, which is Edgar Allan Poe invented the detective story.
Yes, he invented the detective.
Like,
that was my next point.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fish.
It's so crazy when you hear stuff like that.
Yes.
And like it makes me think of Peter Jackson was filming Lord of the Rings, and they were like costume designing for Gandalf, and he's like, it's kind of like a stereotype. And then he's like, no, wait, this is where the stereotype comes from.
Right.
You know?
Did you ever see this is going off a little bit, the actor, I forget his name, but he's in so many things. He's the English
Mel Gibson?
No, he's the English actor that plays the other wizard.
Christopher Lee.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's a behind the scenes of him telling, what's his face, the director.
Is this how you stab somebody?
This is how you get stabbed.
Yeah.
This is how you stab someone.
Christopher Lee
is
frightening.
Yeah.
Like, he was legit hardcore.
And it's because he's like gotten stabbed before
he was,
or something that.
He was English special forces.
Yeah. Like during the Second World War, he was a special ops guy for the British Army.
Isn't that crazy?
And I believe like Peter Jackson was like, this is how it sounds. And he's like, that's not how it sounds. And Peter Jackson was just like, okay then.
Yeah. I love that.
I suppose you would know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Edgar Allan Poe in a nutshell. Questionable person that
I mean,
that he is.
There's not too many famous people that aren't questionable in some way.
I guess.
Sadly.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a question that this is a spot where we stop talking. And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. Thanks again for listening.